This is Sean with Rainwater Management Solutions. Just going to describe to you all today the dosing and injection system. So this one is specifically for chlorine injection. And what we're doing here, now we don't normally have a control that shows this. This specific build had this that shows exactly how the system works. But typically what you'll see is a recirc system. And what we have is a recirc pump down there. That pump will cut on and recirc on a timer. This will do it daily, weekly, however you have the operation set up. That pump will take water, send it up there into the chlorine analyzer. And so the chlorine analyzer is meant to just give you a parts per million reading on chlorine. We're just trying to figure out how much we have in the current water we're about to dose. So we'll get a reading like that. Now, good chlorine analyzers will take 20, 30 minutes of constant runtime to get a good reading on that. They're not meant to be in the field all the time. So what they do is they need a little time to calibrate once you get them going and get readjusted to the environment. After we leave that, we start to inject chlorine. So I'll show you that over here, this process. This is an injection tee right here. So if you'll notice, it has a built-in check valve on it so water doesn't push back into our injection pump. You also notice that's coming at the bottom of the line. And that's to get a good injection. You only come in the side, not the top, because you can get air bubbles, certain things get trapped in it. So it's always good to come in at the bottom right there and push up. The injection pump's right down there. The injection pump has a few different features that are pretty nice, so I'll show you all here. So for chlorine, you're always gonna have like an off gas. So what we do is we run that back into the top, because that's gonna be chlorine vapors that are going back out. For the injection pump, it also has the injection line going out, up, and over there too. You also have a clean out line as well. So if you're ever sitting there and it's injecting, that's why you see these 3 ports on here. You have your vent line, but you also might have like an overflow line that needs to run and recirc back in. The injection pump's pretty straightforward for these. You can control the pulse rate. The pulse rate, as you can see, I don't know if you can see too far on that dial, but it goes from 20 to 100%. It doesn't inject less than 20%. So you can look online, like the installation manual will tell you what's that injection rate that it's doing at 20% per the pump specs or the injection pump specs. We control it via that controller, which is pretty common for our applications. We don't typically have the controller on the skid. We might have it on another skid. It might be on the same skid that's being made, but typically that controller is sending a percentage down, telling it that pump when to cut on and how much to inject at which rate. We're getting feedback from the chlorine analyzer on how much to inject and if it needs more parts per million. Chlorine's a good disinfecting agent. It's a good, inexpensive one. Now we typically use UV treatment, but in some applications you have to have chlorine injection. And sometimes, we have customers ask us, what do we need to use? Something real quick and easy is granular chlorine. So we just have this this is active calcium hypochlorite. It'll give you a dosing amount. We have a storage tank here that we can just put water in, and then per the volume, we'll figure out how much to dose it to get to the parts per million that we need. So just for example, this project, we got this chlorine amount in this tank to get all the way to about 200 parts per million. And then that's how much we were recircing and injecting into our day tank, our larger tank, which we'll explain in other videos. But then we just keep recircing and injecting. It's really good to do that. Now sometimes you can inject straight to end use, right before it goes to the toilets or wherever you're using the water for. But we like this method because you can kind of control the concentration a little bit better. All right, chlorine injection.